I'm already recording.
Okay. Well, this is the Shenanigans podcast. I'm Michelle.
I'm Latin like the language. Oh shit. Motherfucking Netflix is playing in the background. You can't leave nothing on today. You can't leave it on anything because that's okay.
That couldn't have been timed any better.
I was not expecting that shit.
Oh my god.
I had to turn myself down a
Oh
little
my
bit.
god. Do you still want to do the like fake sponsor thing?
Um, we don't have a fake sponsor.
Every
Um,
single time we did that, I would just say this podcast is sponsored by, and then I'd look at you and you'd say some shit.
True that.
Like the first thing that popped into your head. Usually it would lead into whatever we talked about first. Because I would just go based on whatever you said.
I mean, this podcast will be sponsored by that dumbass nigga Clay. I went back and watched the motherfucking
Specifically
first
him.
season. Yes, man, that nigga's so retarded. I went back and watched the first season again, and I was like, "What the fuck is wrong with this nigga?" Like,
Season 2, he gets worse. He
yeah,
gets so
man,
much
it was
worse.
bad. This nigga
Like
could have been.
I didn't mind him in the first season, but season 2, they fucking ruined it. They fucking ruined his character. It like pisses me off to no end. Like
How do you
the
think? How do you
whole
think they
the
made
whole
him
first
worse?
season. The whole first season, he's like the only one, aside from her fucking parents, the only one that's like on her side, on Hannah's side. Like everyone else is like, she's a liar, she's a liar. Don't believe anything she says. Fuck her. Then season 2 comes along, and he's the only one that's against her. Like everyone
Wow.
else is just like, we gotta fight this fight, and he's just like, no, I don't care about anything anymore.
Well, the thing about that,
Like,
that's kind of what I hated about season 2 is they just bringing up all this random shit out of nowhere. Like
yeah.
that was none of Hannah's story. None of the tapes ever said anything about the shit that was going on, and I was like, were they just bringing up random shit? Like it
Yeah.
didn't make sense.
But like with Clay specifically, the whole first season, every single person that's on the tapes are like, she's lying. And Clay is like, no matter what you tell me, I'm going to believe Hannah.
Right.
And then season 2 comes along, and every fucking testimony, he's like, oh my god, she lied about everything. She, like, I don't know who she is at all.
Well, that's how I
He
felt.
even fucking
That's how.
believed Brett.
Well, that's how I felt
Like,
about the damn show. Like, like, is this bitch like who's telling the truth now? I have no idea. And
well,
then,
it's like everything we see in the flashbacks. And we don't
right?
know what it is
Oh my
anymore.
god! And she was fucking everybody. Oh my
That
god!
oh my god, that was another thing that I hated about this season. Is like this season just revealed that everyone on the fucking planet is in love with Hannah Baker.
Yeah,
Like
right.
every single person, even fucking Bryce. Like every single person in the world basically is
Love
either
Hannah.
in love with Hannah, wants to be with her in some way, or is jealous of her. Like
You know
everyone
what?
from the
You ain't
tapes.
never lied about that
aside-
shit, cause, like, the first episode, it was that bitch ass nigga Tyler, and I was like,
Yeah,
I get that, but then it was Clay, then it was
yeah,
what's his face, the Asian dude,
yeah.
Zach,
And then it just keeps
then
going.
it's
Like
Justin,
everyone.
then it's fucking
The like the lesbian chick is also in love with her.
oh,
Everyone. Everyone except for
oh yeah, Courtney. Forgot about
yeah,
Courtney.
that's her name. I forgot her name. Everyone except for Ryan, who's gay.
Except the gay niggas, pretty much.
What's that one dude's name? Yeah, except them and like the counselor. Like from the tapes, it's
Oh,
the
right.
2 gay guys and the counselor that aren't in love with her.
That's some crazy
Everyone
shit.
else was. It's like the writers couldn't think of anything more clever than they're in love with her, and that's the issue.
But she was hanging, like, why would she be hanging out with Bryce? I
Because
didn't
she
get
didn't know
that
what an
shit.
asshole he was. That was literally like within the
It's
first.
before all that shit, but at the same time, it's like, it doesn't seem like her character.
That's because that's when that was happening. That was basically when she first got there. Like she first started the school, decided to like go to the game to attempt to do something social,
Oh, right, and she
and then she
talked to
just
that
happened to
nigga.
meet Bryce,
Okay, I remember that shit.
who got angry that that she like turned him down.
What kind of shit is that?
Yeah, Bryce. That's what he is.
Right? And then, like, it's like, next year I'm gonna just rape the bitch. She did go to that nigga crib, though. I'm still standing my ground on that shit.
What?
She went to that nigga crib, got half naked and sat in the goddamn hot tub, and then everybody left. That nigga Bryce gets in, and this bitch, at that point, she already knew he was a rapist, but stayed in the damn jacuzzi. I didn't
She
get that
tried to
shit.
leave.
She
She
tried
tried
to
to
leave
leave.
at the latest point that she could have actually left. Like, the worst moment. Like, she should have
Like it,
left when Zach and that other chick left. Who the fuck was that bitch anyway?
I have no
Like, this
idea.
nigga Zach was getting
But
bitches.
when they left her, she was alone and she was like not paying attention, and then suddenly Bryce is there.
That nigga Bryce was there the whole time. Like, he was
Was
in the
he
pool. Or he was fuck. Where else would he be?
in his house? He's throwing a party.
Look, they didn't show that shit, so that's up for debate. But when she got there, he was just sitting in the pool. And he was sitting at the pool with his feet in the water. So Justin and what's her face leave, Zach and what's her face leave, and then she's sitting there
I need to
like, I'm
rewatch
finally at
that
peace.
episode or like that part. I need to
Well, she
rewatch that
was.
part
That's.
because like I don't remember him being there at all until like she looks up and he's there.
He was the first person that she saw.
Yeah, when she walked in,
That's what I'm saying.
not
Like
when
at
she
that
got to
point,
the hot tub.
you should have just left. You at a
When she
party.
walked into his house.
when, when, when
See,
she walked.
see, like the like only reason she even went was because it was a party and there's other people around.
She knows what happens at parties when other people are around. That's all I'm
She
saying,
purposely
man.
just like wouldn't drink.
And
That's like
then
the only thing you have issues with.
that she wouldn't drink.
No, because like the only reason Jessica got raped is because she was just too drunk to like do anything.
Oh, well, apparently that was the case with like most of the bitches. But at the same time, it's like it's still a party, and you know that nigga's a rapist.
Yeah, I'm so angry that nothing happened to him.
It's something is.
I'm angry.
You know,
I'm angry with the whole season finale.
I know, cause the whole ever since the last season, the first season ended, we was waiting for that
Yeah.
goddamn shootout. We was waiting
Yes.
for this motherfucker to go to the school and shoot up fucking everybody, and then
Yes.
they planted all the fucking
Nothing
evidence throughout the whole goddamn season, like that nigga was still getting bullied, and then he
Oh my
fucking
god.
he made one friend who also like fucking shit up. So this nigga, they start shooting the guns they do in target practice and shit. And then,
And then nothing happened. Nothing happened at all.
well, and
I
then
was
they
so
stopped
angry.
hanging out.
Yeah.
And then he was about to
Basically
fuck his
lost like the
sister.
only friend he had.
Yeah, it all like, it all led up to that shit.
The
It could
whole
have happened like
finale.
way sooner.
It. I'm
Like,
serious.
You
No,
had
the
to
whole-
wait till the
the
last
whole finale-
episode for this nigga to get fucked in the ass with a broomstick. That was
Of course
fucking
you bring
crucial.
that up.
That was the
That
most
was
crucial
so
shit I ever
intense.
seen, because the nigga pulled it out and that shit was bloody. Then this
That
nigga
was-
was in the room, fucking, his asshole was still bleeding and shit. I'm like, damn. that nigga should be dead for that shit. That
Right?
shit was fucked up. That nigga was. I actually felt sorry
They
for that nigga.
the whole finale, they just like fucked everything up. The whole season, the entire season, and the end of the first season led up to like three things, which was justice for Hannah, Bryce getting what he deserves, and Tyler shooting up the school. None of those things
Yeah,
happened.
none of that.
Not a
we got
single thing.
we got no
I was
satisfaction.
so angry.
We got
They
no
even
satisfaction.
like even with what's her name, Chloe, Bryce's girlfriend.
Oh,
Like the whole season, they're like hinting at the fact that he's essentially like raping her the entire time because he's like, "Are you sure you want to do this? You sure?" And she's like essentially being forced to say yes. And then they find out she's a girl in the fucking picture. They get her on her side. They put her on the stand, and then she's just like, "Oh no, actually, I agreed to it."
right.
I'm like, "What the fuck was?
Why?
Why? What was the point of all of that? What was the point of everything in this goddamn
You sit
season?"
there like, we got his ass. This nigga going to
Oh
jail,
my god.
and then this
I'm
bitch just
so angry.
look at his ass in the goddamn in the goddamn courtroom.
I don't understand why.
Yeah,
I don't understand what looking at him did.
you
Like
should.
even if she like knew at that point that she was pregnant, like still what does that do? He's moving. He's moving away. He's gone. Like
Right.
what was your plan?
I have more sympathy for Justin than I did with her.
I
'Cause
know.
that nigga was conflicted. Like he like this motherfucker took care of me pretty much my whole fucking life, and I gotta turn my back on this nigga, even though he's a
Yeah.
fucking asshole. Like
Oh my god, I was so angry. I was fucking angry. The whole finale, they ruined everything.
you,
The whole finale fucked up.
Tabby was more mad than I was.
I'm probably more mad than you are. You
You
don't.
are.
There's very few things you get like really mad at.
Um. Yeah, I'm surprisingly not as mad as I should be at that ending, because now
Just
they know.
maybe because you like just finished it. For me, when I first finished it, I was fine, and then like a few weeks later, I started thinking about it, and now I'm just like furious. Like I get so genuinely upset every time I think about it.
Well, I'm mad at the fact that they're trying to continue the seasons. I thought this season would be the last one. Like, I
So
thought
did
they
I.
were gonna. The first episode, that nigga should have been shooting up the school. That's what I was. That's what I was waiting for. We had to wait the whole
I didn't
season.
think I didn't think he would the first episode, only because they just like hinted at it. But I
This
do
nigga
think
had
he
a
should
case
have done
full of
something.
guns at the end of the fucking thing. Are you kidding me? It
Yeah,
didn't
but
have
I
to.
didn't think
It didn't
he'd
have.
do it the
Look,
first
he didn't even.
episode.
But he didn't even have to go
But-
through all the abuse that he did. Like, all that shit was unnecessary. Like, at the point where it
They
then
had to, like-
on top of that, on top of that, they had him go to that little rehab thing, whatever
Yeah.
that shit was, and he came back and he was fine. Like, I'm sorry, man. Like, he was apologizing to everybody, and he was trying to be cool with everybody and shit. But he still had the motherfucking
After-
case full of guns. It's like
After
that
that
shit was
rehab
unnecessary.
thing, I don't know if it was just his haircut. He looked like he was a foot taller. Like they filmed that part like a year later or something.
Maybe.
But something should have happened because now that ending is like nothing happened. Nothing
Yeah.
happened. So
literally, like,
if anything in season 3, because they've already announced that they're going to do a season 3.
of course. with
If
that
anything in
ending.
season 3 is like a repercussion of that, it's complete bullshit because nothing happened.
right?
Like even if they're like Clay's there with a gun, all he has to say is it's not mine. We walked outside and there was a gun on the floor. Like that's it.
They gonna believe that shit.
If like what else are they gonna do? Like no,
I don't
literally
think
everyone there, maybe like 10 people knew that something was happening.
what they
Like
did
nothing
was
happened.
they basically ramped up the stakes and then ramped them way the fuck back down in the finale.
Yeah.
Because like
They,
niggas
like,
were
built and
about
built
to
and built
die.
and built, and then nothing happened.
Yeah, niggas
think
were about
even-
to die, and then they
I
were
think
just like,
even
nope.
if even if he like shot someone by accident, like as Clay was like just trying to calm him down,
I was hoping he would
and then
shoot that nigga
someone
in the
like
leg or some shit.
I
That would
know.
have been cool. If he
Like
shot,
even if like someone walked out or whatever and like scared him and made him freak out to the point where he pulled the trigger on someone,
I'd be
even
satisfied
that,
with that.
yeah, like anything, really.
But the cops are
Even
coming. Let's get
someone
the
just
fuck
like
out of here.
getting injured. Like if they're
Yeah,
smart, all they have to do really is like wipe their fingerprints, dump it in a bush, and go back inside.
I didn't get that ending. They
Like,
were holding the gun and they were like, "This shit's fucked up, isn't it?" It's like, yeah. I mean, but nothing happened though.
yeah,
So
I
how is it
know.
fucked up?
I'm
They're making it
so
seem like Clay was gonna immediately be arrested just for having the gun, but he
I
could have
know.
like do it or some shit.
Like even if cops came in that moment and saw Clay holding a gun, still like Clay has no like real motive to do anything. He's not one of the people that like gets bullied on a regular basis there.
He gets
There's
bullied,
no
but not
reason.
as bad as like Tyler.
Yeah,
Like,
but like at no point is there like anything. Plus there's like what 5 people outside with him that are witnesses. So all he
right.
has to say is anything and they will just back up that story. Like are cops going to believe that 5 random people are just going like no, he was here to shoot up the school. Like and is Clay that dumb that he's going to claim it to be his own to just to protect Tyler? Like I don't know what they
Uh,
plan on doing in season 3 with this kind of ending cuz nothing
Cause
happened.
yeah, then it'd be
It's
weird.
going to
Like,
start like 5 months later with Tyler like losing his mind, but really like nothing's going on.
but they can't go back. Like the most dramatic thing that could have happened was the school being shot up, and that
I
didn't
know.
happen. So they can't go back to that. Like
Ugh,
like
it's
it's
so
done. Like what can be worse than that? Like who else can shoot up the school? Pretty much. Like
the only thing that I can think of that can make it more dramatic is something happening with Clay. Like Clay has the gun. And another thing that they fucked up with Clay is they made him like literally insane.
yeah,
Like and no one's talking about that. No one's talking about the fact that he's like schizophrenic.
I was laughing
He
so.
was
I mean,
willing to like shoot himself. And like one of my friends as we were watching it because we're pretty much like on the same episode while we were watching it
mhm.
and it would occasionally just get off, but she was like maybe it's just for like the story effect because that's pretty much how all of season 1 was. It's like we would see Hannah and see him like talking to her, but that was just for the audience. This one it wasn't because of that one scene where he has a gun to his fucking head saying that she won't stop and Justin responding with who are you talking about? Like that's what
Oh
ruined it.
right.
So he's like literally seeing her and he's like literally insane. And no one's talking about that. So
That
I think the only way they can amp it up is if that whatever psychotic break actually like happens and now he's holding a gun and he goes insane.
I mean, but
But even
he
then that wouldn't make
himself, like
sense.
he himself alone de-escalated the situation.
Yeah.
Like he can't go crazy now. Like
Yeah. Which is why I'm like it wouldn't make sense. But
right.
that's really the only way in my mind that they can amp it up again because they made him insane this season.
Right.
And
They
then just they're like, let's just not talk about that.
they could keep exploring that, but I don't think it
They
could.
I
I
feel
don't
like
think
they
it could.
have to now.
Yeah,
Like
that's
you can't
pretty much
just
their
ignore the
only
fact that he
option.
had I feel like it's really hard to just ignore the fact that he had a psychotic break.
This nigga was
Like
about to kill Bryce and his damn self.
yeah, because this like fucking ghost is talking to him.
That's some crazy shit. I laughed my ass off when when he was trying to fuck what's her face? Sky?
Skylar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he looked at it, and it was Hannah,
They
and
kept
she was
seeing
just
Hannah.
staring
Yeah,
at
of course you would.
that shit would be fucking freaky. Like,
Oh my god.
if I
That was
saw
like the first point. I was just like, he's losing his
that
mind.
nigga's going insane, seeing this bitch with his current bitch, and then I was confused at what happened to her, cause she ended up in rehab.
Skylar?
Yeah,
Yeah,
she took some pills or some shit.
yeah. She basically tried to kill herself, so they had to put her in a hospital.
That's some crazy shit.
That's what happens.
But she was perfectly fine
She wasn't.
after rehab.
They
Like,
never left rehab. Or she never left rehab.
but she was moving. Like she was like, I'm going away to like find herself or some shit.
Yeah, because now they like knew what was wrong with her. 'Cause before they probably had no idea what was going on. She was just having these like depression moments, and now they like finally officially diagnosed her, probably put her on the right meds, and so now she's like, I need to figure out all this stuff about my life now that I can be sane.
Um, what else can we talk about before we move on? Because I like watching the show actually helped me with some real life situations, and I want to
Really.
get into that. One situation in particular I'll talk about in this episode. But but what else happened in that motherfucker? This nigga Justin's still doing drugs. Like they
Yeah,
just showed him still doing drugs, but they didn't like it hasn't escalated anywhere.
yeah.
Uh,
That's definitely leading up to the next season. They also
yeah.
showed his like whoever that dude was. It's not his dad. It's his like mom's boyfriend or whatever.
Oh yeah, that nigga
Basically
hunting for his
stalking
ass.
him. Yeah.
But
Like,
that's not. It's still not dramatic enough as a goddamn school shooting.
I
Like if
know.
this nigga find his ass, he gonna beat his ass. Maybe he gonna kill that nigga. Maybe. But they know who the fuck killed his ass.
Ugh.
And then,
They're-
but that's just one character.
I don't know what they're gonna do with the next season. I feel like it honestly feels like they just it was the last episode. The finale is what fucked everything up. It feels like they had all of this story, and then someone somewhere, some executive was like, "That's too much," and they had to change their whole finale.
I can believe that because you know they started putting all those disclaimers and shit in the show. I mean
They had
they
to.
always had the disclaimer, but they have like for more information go to 13 reasons dot in the credits and shit. That like that shit
Yeah,
was never in there. They put it in the first
they had
season
to
too.
do that because people were losing their minds after the first season,
I get it. So yeah, so I would get that.
and they were just like,
But that's the point of the show is to expose that shit.
"Yeah," but they
They
didn't do a very good job, I guess.
he sh-
I don't know.
that nigga should have shot up the school. We was waiting for that shit.
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
know. I
this nigga
know.
Bryce
I
gonna die.
fucking know.
That bitch ass nigga Ryan gonna die for fucking him in the ass. He should have just.
Ryan
Oh, not Ryan. What's his name? Like,
Montgomery.
what? What's his first name?
Montgomery.
That's his first name. Oh, they call that
Yes,
nigga
I looked
Monty,
it
huh?
up. No, I literally looked it up because I was like, I couldn't remember his name at all, and his first name's Montgomery. I can't remember what his last
Okay.
name was.
They
Yeah.
call that nigga
I-
Monty. I remember. So he really only needed to kill that nigga. He was about to kill a bunch of innocent motherfuckers
Yeah,
for nothing.
that's what I was hoping. I was hoping. I didn't think it would lead, especially when like Clay walked out. I didn't think it would lead to him shooting the school. But I was like, he's gonna shoot someone by accident or on purpose, but it's gonna be some random person. or Montgomery is gonna like walk out and he's gonna
You gonna
snap and
fire
shoot
on
him.
that nigga.
Yeah, that's all I was hoping for, and then nothing happened.
Yeah. Such a
And
disappointing ending.
they also built up to this moment of what's that one guy's name? What's the gay guy's name that helped Hannah with the tapes?
Tony.
Tony. They also built up to the fact that like he can't get in trouble or he'll go to jail. And here he is helping out Tyler. But nothing happened. Like,
I mean, they could get caught. Like, if they get caught and this nigga, he got a nigga in his car with
it's
a
like
bunch of
covered
guns.
in guns. Yeah.
That nigga was ready for war, homie. I was ready for that shit. I'm like, this nigga, I think the hypest point of the whole show, just because the school didn't get shot up, was that point where all them niggas fought in the hallway. And
Yeah.
everybody just jumped in. That shit was dope. This motherfucker, what's
That
his
was
face,
literally the best.
walked in there with the cane and hit
I
that
know.
nigga in the back. I was like, because he was walking so slow. I was like, what is this nigga gonna do? And then he hit that nigga. I was like, ah, shit! Like, that fucking fight was hype.
Oh my god. I figured you'd enjoyed that one part.
That was the greatest
That was
moment.
literally the best part of the entire show.
Yeah.
Like, all of it. By the way, the dude, Montgomery's full name is Montgomery De La Cruz.
The fuck? Whatever, the fucking dickhead that fucked
Yeah.
niggas in the ass with broomsticks. If that nigga shot up the school, he wouldn't even have to go through that shit.
Seriously.
I'd have just brought a pistol and fired on that nigga. He bashed that nigga head
Yeah.
in the goddamn mirror in the sink twice. I was like, oh shit. You should have heard Tabby. She was like, ooh. Like,
Because it happened so fast.
it really did. Like,
Like,
for
within-
all the violence throughout the show, it didn't amount to that scene.
Yeah.
Like, that shit was brutal.
Within 0.2 seconds, he hit him against the mirror and then against the sink twice. I'm like, watching that alone, I'm like, Tyler's dead. Like, Tyler just died.
Yeah, right. He should have had some kind
Like-
of head injury from that shit.
Holy shit.
Like, his head, that nigga's like a rag doll. That nigga was flying.
Oh my god.
That shit
There-
was crazy.
like, so much happened. And I feel like Montgomery really didn't have a reason to do that.
Well,
he just-
I like how they built it up, because in that one episode he was like, I don't have shit, like sports is my entire life, and that nigga ruined the whole season. So he
Montgomery
had to
has
fuck that
some
nigga up.
issues if a sports season being canceled
They
is
haven't-
what caused that.
They haven't really explored it, but he's kind of
Yeah.
like Justin in a way. Like, his family
Yeah.
ain't shit.
He's like the new Justin.
All he has
Except he's
is
a lot
sports.
worse because at least Justin is able to back out of it.
Yeah, he
It-
grew
like-
a spine pretty much.
Yeah,
That
after everything that we learn about Bryce in this season, Montgomery is still like, nah, I got his back.
Loyal motherfucker, man.
Like, even Bryce was done with him. And he's still, like,
I wanted
they need to explore his background a little bit more.
that nigga to die after he did that shit to Tyler. I'm not
I
even gonna
know.
lie.
I think everyone did.
I was hoping that nigga had the gun like in his locker and he would just blast that nigga brains out.
That would have been amazing. There's so many things that would have been amazing. There's so much.
It's fucked up that we talk
Like-
about some high school kids like they should have
But it's
died.
like, it should have happened.
Yeah.
It built up to this. It built up to a moment that never happened. And
So
you can't, at
yeah.
no point can you say, like, that's going to happen in season 3. Because they, like, built up to it just to de-escalate it.
I don't know what the hell. They gotta come out with like a 6 episode just closure of the entire show
There's a
at
whole
this point.
third season.
They can't. What are they? What tension is there gonna be?
I don't know, but there's a whole third season. They just announced it.
They posed like an Empire. Did you watch that shit? Like
No.
the first season of Empire it was dramatic and it had like these high stakes and tension and shit because the main character killed a motherfucker. He killed a member of his own family. And it was a secret. And then they found out about it. And then somewhere in between season 1 and season 2, they put his ass in jail. And I was like, niggas are dying and shit. This is some high stakes shit. And like after that, it was all music biz garbage. Like
That's
none of
dumb.
the stakes were as high. So I was like, you can't just start off with some high stakes shit like niggas' lives are in danger. And then the only thing
Yeah.
they were worried about after that was, is my music gonna sell? Like, it was just not exciting after that.
Yeah. Well,
Essentially, that's what they just did. Like, they killed their own tension.
they did, and I don't know what they plan on doing in the next season. Just since I don't
Damn.
know what they plan on doing with like the structure of it too. Because the first season, it was all the voiceovers of the tapes. Second season, it's the voiceovers of all the testimonies.
Oh, right.
But as far as we know, there's nothing for that same structure for season 3.
They could have just everybody's internal monologue.
That would be dumb. That wouldn't.
That's
be
the only way you can go at this point.
I know, but even that is like drastically different. Because 1 and 2, it's like pulling from something.
Right, something that's actually happening.
Yeah,
I would have said,
not just like someone's thoughts throughout their day.
I would have said it just have everybody talk about their background and shit, but we already did all that pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
Except for that nigga Monty.
Yeah, the one person that we actually really
We
should
want
know
to know.
at this point. God, I don't. Like, I have really no hopes for the third season. I'm gonna watch it just to see what they try to do, but
Yeah.
I don't know how they can fix this. I really don't.
It's in Star Wars mode initially. The new Star
like,
Wars is
trying
like, we have no
desperately.
hope for this shit, but we're still gonna watch it just to see what they try to fucking do. Even though that shit's ruined. That shit's fucking ruined. That shit's trash. I don't know what the fuck Disney was thinking.
I'm not into Star Wars enough to know why it's trash.
Oh
I hear
my
a bunch
God.
of people talking about it and complaining, but I'm like, I don't care.
Just watch them all, and you will see.
I have. I've seen them all.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you not see
The-
it? Like,
like-
the new stories are just the old stories. Like,
Yeah, no shit. That's pretty much anything that gets rebooted.
it's not a reboot. It's a direct sequel. Disney
Yeah, but
got
coming
rid
back
of
like how many years later? Of
the. Yeah, but it's
course, that's how it's gonna be.
no.
I'm not into the Star Wars universe enough to like care about that stuff.
I know, but it's a direct, like, it's a sequel. Like,
Yeah.
they're not reboots. Disney literally got rid of all the canon from all the other Star Wars shit that was coming out and said, this
Yeah.
is the canon now. They're
Yeah.
continuing the story, but the story
But they changed
has the
everything.
same structure as the old movies. That shit
Yeah.
sucks. Like, if they wanted to reboot it, they could have rebooted it.
Yeah. No, I've heard all the complaints. But like I said, I'm not into it enough
Right.
to like care.
I know, I get it. Like, you know,
Like people can tell me this all day and I'm just like, sure.
another
Okay.
example is actually a good example. The Thing had a reboot that was a prequel, but it was good.
What had a reboot?
The Thing.
Oh, your mic
you
like
don't-
cut out during that moment.
Oh, for sure. So you don't watch horror films,
No, I don't.
but that shit was fantastic. because it wasn't the same story, even though it was the same monster.
Your
But
mic keeps cutting out.
how's that happening?
I've heard like every other word that you just said.
I don't know what to do about that. Is it better?
As of right now, it is. But like during the last sentence that you said, it was just like every other word for some reason.
It's crazy.
Okay.
But
Right now it's better.
so uh, so it was a reboot because it was called the same thing. It was called The Thing, but it was a
Yeah.
prequel, and the ending of it was the start of the older version, like how the movie
Yeah.
starts. It was fucking
Yeah.
great.
It
That
was
was the
great.
best reboot, prequel, sequel I ever seen.
Well, they probably did more planning. The Star Wars universe is just like
They just want to make
people
money.
like this. Yeah, people like this. Let's just make more.
That's Disney
And the
though.
thing is, people are gonna go see it. Like, no matter how mad people are at the last one, people are gonna see the next one.
You know what? I actually allegedly watched the
Your mic,
fucking.
your mic has like gone to shit right
Oh,
now.
what the fuck is going on?
It'll like be fine for like a couple minutes, and then suddenly you'll say something, and it'll just like keep dropping out of nowhere.
Alright, hold up. Alright, is it better? It might just be. I think my roommate's like using the internet or something, so it's fucking with it. I should turn the PS3 off. Oh, I see it actually cutting off. That's fucked
Yeah,
up.
yeah. It's like it's really random. Like you'll be fine for like a minute or so, and then just
Been good.
randomly.
All through the goddamn podcast, we've been good.
Yeah, and then suddenly, how long
It's
has
just,
it been?
I can't even see the motherfucking, when you record on OBS, it doesn't show you the time or anything. I
That's
have to go
stupid.
and look at the file. It's, I'm not even sure.
Does it not say anywhere else? I don't.
Let me see.
I have no way of like determining
I
when it
mean,
started.
let me try to put it back in a regular mode. Nah. I haven't installed it. There's probably some way to show how long you've been doing it, but
Yeah, I feel like there should be a way
I think
because
it's
that's like
let me see.
made for recording stuff.
Oops. I think it's more for streaming. It's definitely more for streaming because everybody uses this shit for streaming. So
Yeah,
I think the recording thing is just like a generosity.
true. Still.
Anyway, so what I wanted to talk about from watching 13 Reasons,
Yeah,
because the whole point of that suicide was being like, you gotta watch out for these signs of help or these calls for help, shit like that, you know what I'm saying? No matter how subtle
yeah,
they are and shit.
yeah,
And I'll be on Snapchat, and this one chick I know from way back was basically posting like these depression, anxiety, like she hates her job and her life is fucked type of shit, like them fuck my life posts that you see on social
yeah,
media that nobody gives a fuck about.
yeah,
And I like was like, talk to me, like what is wrong? Why are you so fucking
yeah,
depressed all the time? And she basically came out uh and it was like she basically lost like all her motivation for
yeah,
anything pretty much.
yeah,
And I was like, why is that? Like I talked to her for like days about this shit, and she's like,
yeah,
I'm depressed, she doesn't like her job, like all kind of shit like that. And I'm like, well, when I knew you a while back, like you were happy, you had goals, like what happened? And she pretty much doesn't know. And she's
Yeah, that's
like,
called depression, Latin.
but it's got to stem from somewhere, right?
It probably stemmed from the stress of her job.
But she could get another gig. Like, she did.
What?
She was a manager at this at McDonald's, and then
Damn.
she was like, fuck this shit. She moved. Now she's a manager somewhere else. She moved out of her old place. She got
Mhm.
married. Like, she got a new spot. She has a wife. It seemed like everything was going good, and like she was making changes in her life that she would feel better about. But then I talked to her about it. She's like, "No, I still feel like shitty."
Yeah, that's
And
usually like depression. That's usually how depression works.
but the point is, she'd be like, she'd post about it and nobody would say anything. Like, I'm the only motherfucker that would talk to her about this shit. And I had convinced her at one point to like get motivated. Like, she felt better
Yeah,
about her life at one point just because I was like persistent enough to talk to her about it. And then
yeah, which is good.
she lost it again.
That's what happens.
But
Like it's not gonna stay.
I'm still talking to her about it though. You know what I'm saying? But I
Yeah,
like the show actually opened my mind up to realize that people like social media, or I should say fucking millennials, are on this
yeah.
shit like calling for help and ain't nobody saying nothing because they're worried about their own social media life and they just want to.
Well, usually I I see shit like that all the time, and it it sucks because there's a lot of people who do just do that because they're having a bad day. And I think that's one of like the biggest reasons why a lot of people don't really respond to stuff like that.
I get that, but her shit's like a pattern. It's like almost every other post I would look at would be her complaining about something, like some aspect of her life. But
Yeah.
you know, she'd put like, well, I can't remember exactly. They come off as jokes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's like the worst part of it is people
Right.
kind of just joke it off. I
Like,
think the moment that she stops posting stuff like that is
that's
when it's gotten serious.
right.
Like the moment you just suddenly stop seeing her on social media, you need to go check up on her.
I'll be checking up on her like every other day now,
That's
cause
good.
she'll still post some shit like jokingly, halfway serious.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I don't know why niggas don't be trying to talk to people and shit.
Because people see it as just people joking. That it's
I was gonna say, but people
like,
have the mentality of like everybody's life is fucked up.
yeah,
Like,
especially millennials now, because we are basically living in the day and age where like the older generation has kind of fucked shit up for us. So for millennials, like all of our anxiety levels and stress levels are higher than they've ever been before.
right.
And we're kind of just forced to deal with it.
I started talk.
So,
I started talking to people about that shit through my job. I would
yeah,
try to bring people into my business, and my CEO. I had a couple people do an
yeah,
interview with my CEO, and she would ask them shit like, "Are you motivated? Do you have any goals? Like, do you want to buy a house? Do you want to accomplish anything?" And people would be like, "Not really." It's like,
that's
that's
so
scary.
sad.
Like,
Yeah,
I didn't really start to think about it until she talked about it because I had one of my friends do it, and he's staying at his mom's house, and she was like, "Well, don't you want to move out? Don't you want to buy a house?" And he was like, "Nah, I think I'm good here." Like, he works 3 jobs and shit. He's like, I'm good with my jobs. It's like, bro, really? Like, you don't want to excel
That's
at
like,
all? You don't want to buy your own house, nigga? Like,
yeah, that's like my worst fear is being home forever.
but
Like
it's just,
I have legit family members that are married with kids living at home. And I'm like, how? How? Why? Why would you ever want that?
I couldn't do that shit.
Me
Like,
either. I can barely stand living at home now.
right? Like,
And I've been here for a few months.
I love my family and shit, but I always had that motivation to move out.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get how people could not have that. Um, just that motivation to do anything. Like, they don't think, like, people don't think about their future at all. Maybe like just working regular jobs, like shit is gonna, like, it's gonna change anything, but they don't make
Yeah.
enough to push themselves onto the next step of their life. Like, they're just stuck in this cycle, and they're happy with it, and
I
that's
think
fucked up.
there's like people, there's like the average person that just plain doesn't have motivation. Like they're just used to things. And then there's like the lack of motivation because of depression, which is like, in my opinion, very different.
Damn, then that shit affects like your whole mindset. Like, cause the chick I was talking about earlier was like, she's all depressed and shit, and that affects, like, it makes her think about her routine. Like, all she does is work and come home and sleep and repeat the process.
Yeah.
My sister told me the same shit. She was depressed, like super depressed, a couple weeks ago or some shit. And I was talking to her about it. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, all I do is work and come home. Sometimes I go out, like I don't have any friends. It's like my coworkers are whack. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes we go out, but it's like not like on some like we should hang out type shit. And I'm like,
Yeah. It's like
where
what
is?
depression does to you.
But it's all this shit. Like, I think it's just our generation. Like, it's all coming at me. I've been talking to people about different shit through my job because I'm trying to get like business partners and shit. And
Yeah.
I'm like, you want to make more money? And they're like, nah. Like, it's just weird to me. And then
Yeah.
my CEO would talk about people like have an employee mindset. Like, they just want to work and be comfortable making that small ass check just to make it
There are
through.
some people that are just like okay with that. I feel like
But
millennials feel that way about like their future more so than anyone else because we are a more creative generation. Like
but it's
I feel like everyone's parents are kind of just like they do just whatever job that pays the bills. But like millennials, like we're like us, for example, we're art students. Like I'm the first person in my entire family that went to an art school
that's what's up.
or something other than just like the basics that can get me a like office job.
Right.
But and my cousins are essentially like the same thing. Like I was the first one that went to an art school, and my one of my cousins recently graduated, and he's going to film school too because I went to film school.
Nice.
And
You
then
inspired him.
yeah, exactly, and I'm proud of that.
That's what's up, actually.
And speaking of side note, he like this summer because he just graduated. So during the summer before he starts school, he's planning on like making a film, which is like a 90-page script.
Whoa.
And I'm like, you're not doing that. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, he needs to make a short out of like one or two of those scenes
Yeah.
and be done.
he, he was like telling me about it, and just from like the premise, because he doesn't want to give anything away so that he can show the family at the end of the year. Um, but just from what he said, I'm like, that's 10 pages tops, and he refuses to let me look at the script because I guarantee I can get it down to like 15 pages. And I'm like, you, you know how hard it is to
Why
do
wouldn't
that?
he show it to a family member who graduated from film school?
Because he like wants it to be a surprise for everyone. He wants to film it and do everything so that he can show everyone at the end of the year. And since I'm family, he wants to surprise everyone.
Bruh, you're
But
not gonna surprise me with a good feature.
he,
Like you, you
I
gotta let
told
him
him,
know.
yeah, no, I told him, I was like, here's what's gonna happen. You're gonna spend the summer filming it. And his plan is because his school, he's gonna be living on campus. And the dorm that he happens to be at is like right next to the editing rooms. So he's gonna spend like his first semester or however long editing it while he's in school and learning everything. So I was like, here's what's gonna happen. You're gonna end up filming it, and then you're gonna take the classes that teach you everything, and you're gonna end up hating it, and then never finish. Like
I'd be
that's what's gonna happen.
I'd be surprised if he films like his whole 90 pages in.
So will I. No, not even that. The last time I saw him at his graduation, because he told me this like a few months ago, and then his graduation was like a few weeks ago. And during his we went out to dinner after his ceremony, and he was telling me about it again, and it grew. It's like 100 and something pages now.
Damn.
And I'm like, how did that happen? I thought you were done. And he's like, no, I went back and looked at it and needed to add more things. I'm like, I'm sure you didn't. You need to add
I don't know.
anything. You needed to take stuff out.
Does he know about like the screenwriting formatting and shit, or is he
No.
just oh shit?
I,
Oh
no.
man.
Like the last, I try to give him as many pointers as I could since he refuses to let me look at the script. And I'm just like, try to not have this type of stuff. Try to this, or this.
Hmm.
And because the last film he made during for my family, we celebrate Christmas on Christmas Eve, and sometimes my cousins will like throw talent shows. So usually mine and his talents are like some form of film. And he made one last year, and like there was so much just like dead space because he didn't get that, like you don't really need to see them walk all the way down the hall to the next room or whatever.
Uh,
And so I was like, cut all that out. Like you don't need that.
right.
And so I was just like giving him all these tips, and I hope to God that he like goes back through his script and just cuts everything out. I'm like, believe me, I guarantee you don't need anything.
Shit, he
And he
gonna
also
learn.
says that it's very dialogue heavy, and I'm like dying inside.
Damn. He gonna see. He gonna see when he gets to the
He's gonna
motherfucker.
grow to hate it once he starts school. I'm
Yeah.
like, we're never gonna see it.
Yeah.
But
That's
he
at least
really
he's
did.
ambitious though. Like
Yeah.
that's more than I can say for some niggas as old as me and shit. Like,
They're just content. They're just content with how their lives are. That's it's basically
but
there's a lot of it feels weird for us because we're film people. We're people that are like our entire futures are just one movie after another, and it's constantly different, constantly changing, and that's how like our minds work. But there are people who are just like totally fine with just a well-paying job that pays bills, pays a mortgage or whatever it is that they want,
I'm
and that's it.
I'm cool with that. But you gotta get to that point, and nobody's at that point yet to be content. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you're working like a barely above minimum wage job, and some of these niggas still
Yeah.
live with their parents. They don't save up enough money to actually get to actually move out. So it's like
Yeah. I also think
eventually
that
it's gonna
there
hit them like like they're gonna start thinking about their future and shit. especially if they want to
They're
have
gonna
a.
start thinking about their future the moment their parents get sick of them. That's what's gonna happen. Like
They're
the
just too
reason why
fucking
they
late.
don't care, like the reason why they don't care is because their parents
Right.
are probably totally fine with them being there, and they see it as like it's rent free. I like it here. I can spend my money doing whatever I want and not worry about anything else. Like, why wouldn't you want to pass that up? But the moment their parents are like, "You're 50 years old, get out of my house," like then they're fucked.
I can't even. I can't be comfortable with that shit, bruh. It's like,
I
how the
know.
fuck it's uncomfortable being grown,
Yeah,
living with
I
it.
don't get it either. That's some people. Like I've seen it firsthand. I like I said, I have
No,
family members, and
I
that's like
see
my
it
worst
too.
fear.
Like, I just don't get it because
Neither do I. I will never understand. I will never understand why anyone would want that.
I know four grown ass niggas who are as old as me. They all live at my friend's parents' house. It's a
What?
two-story house, but all like they had an apartment, and then
Yeah.
one of them moved out, so they didn't. I guess they couldn't afford it anymore, so they
Yeah.
moved back in. But
Mhm.
they're not saving up to move back out. Like they just chilling at this nigga's parents' house, and I don't get
Yeah.
that shit at all.
They just like got comfortable with it.
That shit's awkward.
Yeah.
Like,
I would hate it.
I don't get it. Like,
I would,
and these niggas be fucking bitches in there and shit. I can't do
Jesus.
that shit. I gotta move. Like, I got my own spot now. I can fuck wherever the fuck I want to and not have to worry about goddamn his parents hearing it. Or, like, his brother still lives there because, like, his brother has a condition or some shit, so he can't
Yeah.
move out. But that's
Yeah.
it. Like,
That
these
makes sense.
niggas, they working. Like, they making money. They don't pay half as much rent as they would be paying if they moved out. They should have enough money to put a down payment on a fucking apartment or some shit,
Yeah.
or a
But
house or some shit. Like, it's ridiculous.
it's that's laziness. That's what that is.
I don't know what the fuck it is. It's
That's
just
like
sad. Like,
it's content with how things are, and they just don't feel like doing anything else.
I gotta talk to these niggas.
Just like
that shit, that shit's fucking with me,
like
man.
sit them down and like
Like
what is
what?
wrong with you?
Like, y'all niggas gonna stay there until like they die or what? Like, they still got another 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
Like, y'all niggas gonna be 40 living in. Y'all niggas gonna be 40 years old
And
living in the
even then,
homie's
like
parents.
they they don't pay any of the bills of that house. I
They
like
just
if
they give
the
them like
parents die, they now have to do something and probably
right.
pay more than what they would have to pay like renting a place.
That shit is insane. They could
Yeah.
probably get their own house at this point. It's four grown ass niggas in there with jobs.
That's sad.
They all have cars. Like, they pack their
That's
cars in
so
the
sad.
damn driveway. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I
That
don't get it. These damn millennials, man.
you're a millennial.
I know, and I can't stand it.
You're like
I like to refer to myself as Generation Y. I didn't even
generation what?
Y.
Why?
I didn't know that existed.
Yeah, you're like
But
you didn't?
no, they have Generation Y and Z, which is just
Yeah,
weird.
Generation Z is like after us.
Why do we have to continue on from Generation X? Like, we could have been our own shit.
I don't know.
Every generation has their own shit except for us.
They, I don't know. Don't ask me. Ask whoever the fuck came up with it.
I don't know who comes up with that shit.
Neither do I.
Anyway, that was a good conversation. We went from 13 reasons to
To
like depression and
depression.
anxiety to talking about film to fucking me being depressed about
Your
our
lazy
goddamn
friends.
generation. These niggas ain't thinking about the future at all. God damn, you niggas gonna be fucking
Oh
grown
my
ass
god.
man living at the homie house. I don't get
I
that
like
shit.
how we transitioned to that from you talking about like your friend's actual depression.
Right.
They're
I
just lazy.
well, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Cause
There
I think a
there's
part of
there's
it,
like
a part of it comes from that statistic that millennials go to college and don't get jobs. Like we go to college and we get in all this debt and we just end up with the regular job anyway, like not even doing our fuck what we graduated for.
yeah.
And like people see that and don't even go to college. Then they just like, well, I'm gonna just waste all my time in college and not even get that career. I might as well stay at this
Yeah.
job. But then like I think about it
That's
and it's
that's
like,
literally what happened to my little brother. My little brother, he graduated like 2 years ago from high school, and he
uh,
was like, "I'm gonna take a year off," and my mom was totally fine with that. And now it's 2 years later, and he hasn't gone to college, and he doesn't plan on it because he has a job that he's like working. So
like
it's just,
content. But it's like
oh,
I see it as like when I think about it, I'm like, yeah, I could just get a job. But where am I gonna be 5 years from now? Like, do I want to be working a regular ass job for the rest of my goddamn life? Like when I talk
no.
to bitches, I don't want to be like I work at fucking. I like, like, I work full time at Walmart or fucking McDonald's or
I
some
would
shit.
hate that.
I
Like
hate that shit
anytime I
now.
see
I'm
like a really
26.
old
I hate that shit
anytime I see
now.
like an old person working at like a fast food place, I'm like, that's so sad. Like, what
It's
happened?
like it's an economical problem. Like
It
the old
is.
people, what happened to them is they had uh most likely had a 401k, and the 401k is in the market. So when the market
Yeah.
crashed in '08, they lost about
Yeah.
40% of their damn money, so they couldn't retire, so they had to go
Yeah.
back to work.
That fucking sucks.
Yeah, that shit,
Uh,
that's some fucked up shit, but like I don't want to do that. I was thinking, you know what I was thinking about, like when I was first like job searching when I was like 18. I was
yeah.
saying shit like I didn't want to work at uh like a fast food restaurant or some shit.
Neither do I.
I wanted to work in like retail or some shit. But when I
Same.
go but when you go to the stores, you see older people working. So it's
Yeah.
like if these motherfuckers are working here, then I shouldn't have no fucking problem working here.
Yeah.
But that's a startup job. Like
It is.
that's some shit you get while you still in school just so you can get food
Yeah.
and then you leave that shit and get a career.
It's there's a lot of people who just don't know what they want to do as a career. What
Oh,
the hell?
that's another thing. Man, I be talking to these motherfuckers like like the chick I told you about earlier. I asked her what she wanted to like be when she grew up essentially.
Yeah.
She had no idea. I said, "How is that possible?" It's a couple
There's a
other
lot of people who
motherfuckers I
don't.
it's like
Like,
you go through this whole I get it. Like in 13 Reasons, the bitch
yeah,
said some shit in the tapes that was like the realest shit out of the entire show.
which
She
was
was like, you go 18 years all throughout school without having an original thought, and then you're supposed to make the most important decision of your life. when you graduate.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
realest shit I ever heard. I get that shit. But at the same motherfucking time, you gotta be thinking about what the fuck you wanna be. Like all throughout school, these motherfuckers like, what you wanna be when you grow up. And you know, I wanted to be a fucking.
Did you know what you wanted to be?
When I was
I can
really,
hear myself through your.
I
I
yeah,
can
that
hear
shit's pretty
myself through
loud.
your headphones.
I gotta turn it down.
But did you know what you wanted to be like your entire life?
Hell nah. When I was super fucking young, and I mean before I even understood the concept, I wanted to
Yeah,
be a policeman
of course,
because they had guns. Like
of
that was the
course.
sole the sole reason why I wanted to be a
At
fucking cop.
at what point did you figure out film was your career?
I think I took a year off and I think that's when I found out. Actually, it was in
Yeah,
between it was in between me. I'm not even gonna say the year I took off was like kind of some bullshit. I only wanted to take a couple months off, but I
yeah,
was I was trying to get into this community college, and that shit was full all the goddamn time, so I couldn't take
I'm sure.
classes. So it took me like another 6 months to get in that motherfucker. I think it was the 6 months that I was out of school, like trying to get. Actually, it wasn't, because at that point I had decided what my major was. It was some point shortly after I graduated from high school that I knew I wanted to do film.
Yeah,
Because I was like, I'm going to go to RCC, and I majored in film, and they couldn't offer me any classes because I didn't have any units. So I had to
yeah.
take bullshit classes until I got some units, and then I was like, "Fuck this!" like, like all the homies was doing that shit. None of them niggas graduated from that motherfucker, of course. But we always go in there as like a standard for people who graduated from our high school, and
Uh-huh.
then you transfer to another college or some shit. I was going
Yeah.
there and I was like, I'm wasting too much fucking time trying to get a class in this motherfucker. I'm like, I'm out this bitch. Plus the classes are like $100 to $300 each. So I was like, fuck it.
Cheaper than our school. I
Yeah,
can
true
still
that,
hear
but
myself through your headphones.
goddamn, I turned it back up.
Turn it back up.
Yeah, I can barely hear you. That's why.
Yeah.
But
Okay, I don't hear it now. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of people like you didn't figure out till after high school. We're apparently supposed to just know. I
it's
didn't figure out till my senior year.
actually when I was in high school, I was gonna go to school for computer science, and then I figured out. Well, I was always into film. I would always watch behind the scenes shit
Yeah.
when like nobody else I hung out with did. I found that shit
Yeah.
so interesting, and I was
It
like, you
is.
know what? I was like, you know what? I like because I had a genuine interest on how they made the shit, and
Yeah.
then I was like, I might as well just learn, and I did that. I didn't want to fuck with computer, like I wanted to get into computer science because I watched Live Free or Die Hard. The side character was like a hacker.
That's
Like,
what you wanted to do.
yeah, and it was dope. It was dope. Like, I mean, if I went into it, like them niggas make
Oh my
a
god.
ton of fucking money, especially now with technology. Like, I could have just developed like an app, like some bullshit
Yeah.
app or some bullshit video game, and I'd be rich.
If you made an app, what would it be?
It probably would have been. I don't know. You mean like
Give you
now
the
or like
idea.
back in high school?
Like, did you have an idea back in high school of an app to make?
Nah, because apps weren't like prevalent back then. This was
Out of
like,
out of
oh,
every app that you currently know of that's currently made, if you got to like go back in time and be part of that app, which one would it be? Which one would you choose?
one app.
Yeah, like one app that you know of today. If you got to go back in time and just
If
be like, yeah, I'll be part of that
if it's
startup
based
company.
if it's based on success,
Yeah,
uh, it would have been Snapchat.
Snapchat.
Snapchat is ridiculous.
I remember when that first came out and like everyone was just talking about it. It was like originally made to be like a sexting app. That's what it was.
Pretty much.
And then you got a bunch of millennials get a hold of it. And they just changed that completely.
I think this. Well, the thing that changed it was the damn stories. That's what changed the
Yeah.
shit. If they never came out with that
Well,
shit, it'd still be like weird sexting shit.
yeah,
Niggas sending
probably.
like dumb drawings to each other and shit. The stories pretty much made it like it's pretty much Facebook with videos only.
Yeah, pretty much.
At the same time though, they doing some big shit, man. Like that Discover
I'm
shit
sure.
is ridiculous. They get so many sponsors and ads with that shit. I'm
It's
like,
so
oh
much.
my god. Like when it first came out, I was like, the fuck is this garbage? And then I saw like and then I saw like all the companies and shit that do it. I'm like, damn. Yeah, they pulled some shit with that.
Oh, God.
I can't think of any apps that I feel like passionate about enough to work on.
Yeah.
Like it's all bullshit. Like yeah. I don't have
I feel like
anything. None of these are gonna
most,
help me in life at all.
yeah, but most apps are just like really random and probably won't last much longer. But I feel like Snapchat is like dying out right now
Well, because
because,
Instagram came out with the stories, and people like them
but like,
better for some odd reason.
because people dislike Snapchat. That's essentially what happened.
I don't know. It's
Like
the
Snap,
same shit, like literally the same shit.
except that Instagram has the pictures and all of that stuff. I think people just like stopped liking Snapchat. And then Instagram came in at the perfect moment and was like, hey, you can do all that stuff you do on Snapchat, but here, since you hate Snapchat so much.
I I like Snapchat because I was a different person on Snapchat. Like I would be talking so much shit because I knew that nobody would respond to my shit. Like
That would be.
I was
You
just
should continue doing that. Continue doing that. Film it. Send me the snaps, and I'll post it on Shenanigans.
you could see the snaps.
But I can't record them.
You could get an app to record your screen.
You know how much simpler it would be for you to just save your story and then send it to me. Like I have to go through this
Yeah.
process of getting an app, like going to your shit, playing it all
Oh
just
my
so they
goodness.
will record it, then downloading it and then uploading it.
Look,
Like
my Snapchat has evolved. Like I remember when it started off, I tried to be like everybody else, like just making stupid videos and taking pictures of dumb shit. And then,
I didn't even get a Snapchat till way late.
yeah, I
And
remember
the only yeah, keep going.
I was posting funny videos and shit, and then I just realized how stupid the whole thing was because I would hit people up and nobody would say shit. So then I was
Yeah.
like, well, this whole app is just for watching people's stories, like literally just peeking into people's lives on whatever they decide to
Yeah.
post. So then I started talking shit about it. Like I started calling people out specifically, and then I would get a response. And I was like, "Oh,
Oh my
now you're
god.
gonna fucking hit me up. If I call you out on my
Of course.
story, you're gonna hit me. But if I direct message you, you just gonna look at my shit." It was ridiculous. So then
Yeah,
that,
because you're calling them out on a platform that a bunch of other people are gonna see.
like, what does it matter? That's what, like, that's my idea about it. But other people have that mindset, like, oh shit, like he posted it on his story, it must be serious. Like I'm messaging you for a reason.
Yeah.
Like, so then, and then like I just started ranting about how stupid Snapchat was and all the idiots who use it.
Yeah.
And then I would say shit like I I was talking shit about the filters, like all the animal filters, and how
Yeah.
girls would be trying to pose all sexy and shit. And I was saying Snapchat was turning us into furries.
I think
Fucking
you I think I either saw that or you showed it to me. But I
yeah.
remember you talking about this one.
Oh, that shit was hilarious to me. I would just be posting like
Okay.
shit like that because
You should continue.
when it's evolved now. Like recently, I've been posting shit like about what we talked about. Like this, I posted like one time. Do any of you millennials have any goals aside from working the same job for the rest of your life? And nobody said. Actually, one person responded to that shit, and she said
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. You had such a build up to that no.
I
Like
know. I was like, she
oh
actually responded to that shit and destroyed like my whole hope for our generation. And then I
it's because
said,
it's a platform that's like designed to just take a peek into someone's life. Like it's not a communication platform. It's not
yes, that's what
Facebook.
it was built for. Like the original premise of
It was
Snapchat
built
was
to send
talking through
pictures.
pictures, having a
Yeah.
conversation through just pictures.
Yeah,
That's
and
what it
then
was
when they
about.
added the stories themselves were the peek into someone's life.
You know what?
So when you look at a story, you're not
But when I would
really
post like that shit, I would just post like black with the word text, and people would watch that shit more than they would watch like any of my other shit because I
they
was
would watch
ranting
it
about something.
thinking that something was happening.
But I'd
Like
just be talking shit about them, and
it would be hilarious.
they wouldn't say anything.
Those are like the few snaps that I remember seeing of yours because I don't really look at anyone's Snapchat.
You
I
should.
like barely use it now. The literally the only way I'll look at someone's snaps is if they send it to me directly.
I
Like,
should just send you. I never saved any. I don't think I saved any of my rants.
that would be great.
It would.
We just yeah, just start
I'll
ranting more.
start.
Send them to me and we'll have more shenanigans videos.
What happened was
I'm like I'm literally just filming anything now for shenanigans footage. I got like 4 videos yesterday because my family's fucking insane.
were they drunk?
No. No, I went to my mom's, or it was really technically like the day before and yesterday. I went to my mom's to stay the night because we went to Universal Studios yesterday for an early birthday present.
Word.
And the night before, me and my brother stayed over, and my little brother, out of nowhere, just like got super fucking hyper, and my baby brother, he has like a bunch of these like those like ball pit balls, like the colorful like light balls.
How?
And my little brother, what do you mean?
How did he get those
Like
balls?
it came with like this little toy that he has. And it was just like a bunch of them. So he basically has like a little mini ball pit. And so there's a bunch of them throughout the house. And me and my brother, we were like trying to make it into this like one bucket that's across the living room from where we were sitting.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, my little brother looks back into the kitchen, which is right behind the living room. And he's sitting on the couch, and there are these like empty vases on top of the fridge. And he's like, I bet you anything I can make it into those vases. And he like tries to throw it, nowhere near it. And he just keeps like grabbing more and more, throwing them in there. And then like maybe 20 minutes later, we somehow evolved into playing baseball indoors with like children's toys.
Oh, I saw that snap.
Yeah. It was like pure chaos. No, like my mom and my baby brother like on the stairs just watching this, just being like, that was pathetic, Eric. Like,
Wow.
and then in my snap, the one throwing it, that's my mom's boyfriend who we just met that day.
Wow.
And so, there was just so much chaos happening.
That's
Like
hilarious.
at one point my mom just like lost it and started attacking my brother with all the balls.
When are you
Like,
posting that?
like probably within this week. Like I'm gonna dump the footage. I literally got home last night and then have been busy all day today because I've been out all day. And then, but there was a point where my mom was just like getting angry because he wouldn't give up on trying to make it into the stupid base, even though he was nowhere near it ever. But he would just keep bragging because he's a cocky little shit, just trying to like make it. And so my mom, I don't know what happened. She like went from just picking them up, and then at one point she had like 5 of them in her hand and just like rapid fire, just like threw them at him.
Wow.
And so they're like feet from each other, just like throwing them at each other. And I'm like, what just happened? Like,
Can't wait to see this shit.
so like they're all completely sober.
Damn.
And then yeah, I have like a good 4 videos just from the day before yesterday and yesterday from Universal Studios.
That's what's up. We need some content back up there.
Yeah, I know.
Yo
It's
ass
you
is
and
so damn
Claudia.
far though.
What happened?
I said yo ass is so damn far though.
I'm not that far.
Shit.
Like the amount of times I've gone to LA, like you guys are the ones that are always fucking busy.
The last time you was here,
I was
what was
there
it,
a few
Pride?
weeks ago. Yeah.
I'm not going to Pride.
Like and then
I mean, I'm not going to Pride by myself.
we were there. Like
Yeah, but
you're not by yourself.
I would have had to go. Like, the process of me driving there, I would have been by myself.
I would have had to go. You could have come. You could have like picked up Claudia and I and Stephanie. Stephanie went too, and then we would have had a video on the way there because you and Claudia would have done something insane.
Shoot, did you
Just
make any
driving
videos?
there. What happened?
Did you make any videos?
I have like some footage, but it's not much.
I bet
So I
Claudia
haven't
was
really,
going
like-
crazy.
Claudia, she would just like randomly get really hyper out of nowhere.
I was gonna tell you, we went out. Me, Claudia, Tabby, and Tabby's friend went to karaoke.
Oh
And-
boy.
This motherfucker was like an all black karaoke, right? Well,
Yeah.
it's like an all black bar because we were in Inglewood, so we was in the hood. It was like 2 white people in there, including Tabby, Claudia
Oh boy.
decides to sing Are You Gonna Be My Girl by Jet.
Oh my god.
Them niggas them niggas was like, what the fuck? It was probably like I should have recorded that shit, bruh.
You should have.
Oh my god. I can't believe I didn't
Record
record that shit.
everything.
Fuck. I wasn't even
How
oh
dare you call yourself a filmmaker?
I'm not a documentary filmmaker, right?
You're a millennial. You're a millennial and a filmmaker, and you didn't record it.
Like I said, I don't consider myself a millennial. But
Obviously.
anyway, uh that shit was hilarious because when the song first started, she screamed and it like blew out the mic and everybody was like, oh shit. There was probably about 3 or 4 people in there who were actually happy that she was singing that song. She sang it good, but
I'm sure.
it was the wrong crowd.
Yeah.
Like the whole section that was in front of the stage left. like it was crazy. That was some of the
So
wildest shit
bad.
I ever seen. And then
You should have recorded it.
on top of that,
Oh, man.
we were on the way home, and this
Yeah.
bitch like low key made out with Tabby's friend.
Yeah.
I
Low
was like,
key. How do you
damn,
low key make out with someone?
because I was driving, and they were in the back seat, and we pulled up to
Yeah.
Claudia's crib to drop her off, and like we were sitting there making jokes and shit, and like I turned around, I don't know how long she had already made out with her ass, but she was like backing up at that point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was like, whoa. Like Claudia went ham that night. Like we was
Oh
faded
my
as
god.
fuck because we was already drinking in the car, and then we got drinks there.
Yeah.
Claudia had some fucking balls that night. I've never seen her be that aggressive with a female ever.
Ever. Yeah. Yeah.
She
Claudia was
straight
at
made
fucking
out with this
pride and
bitch.
not like that.
Oh, that's some insane shit. That was
Oh my god.
insane. It was so hilarious. Because she was all nervous and shit after it happened.
I bet. I fucking bet. That sounds exactly like Claudia.
Oh, it was so Claudia. That
Oh my
night
god.
was fucking great. It was Tuesday. Oh man. That shit was fantastic. Oh,
You should have recorded it.
I should have. Like, I'm
See,
not
that
even.
would have been a great shenanigans video.
It's not even in my like brain capacity to like pull out my phone anymore
That's
when shit
like all I
happens.
do.
I know that's all you do.
Yeah, that's the whole reason why I ended up starting a YouTube channel.
I
like,
don't even
like
be.
I get so much nonsense footage. I should just post this somewhere.
I don't even be thinking about it no more. The only time I think about it is if, like, police are fucking around, or if
Yeah.
there's a fight. That's the only time I think about it. Damn, that shit was hilarious, man. Fucking Claudia.
Dude, if she's not on this podcast to like talk about that, she would have been like, "Listen, listen, listen. Here's what happened." What he said, no, just here's what happened.
Oh shit.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we need to talk about that shit. We got to get her on here.
There's so much we do.
She's most likely at work, working 6 days a week and shit. With that 1 week she did, and
Yeah.
she doesn't get home till like midnight, 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
What kind of shit is that? Like, she'll have no time during the day at all. Like I'd be like, Claudia, you want to chill?
Like so aggressive.
Like I gotta go to work. That shit pisses me off when I'm trying to hang out with people and they gotta work
And
like
they have work
all day,
the time.
and then like I'm like, what about the next day? Like I gotta go into work. Like nigga,
Yeah.
can you live?
No. They gotta work. They gotta pay bills.
Niggas can't live. Like it's
No.
ridiculous. I be telling niggas,
You
man,
need you need to find out what days Claudia has off and then make sure that you are off one of those days. Then let me know and I'll go out to LA and we can film stuff.
well now I make my own hours. I ain't even
That's perfect.
tripping.
Whatever Claudia has off.
Like the next 5 days, Tabby is out of town, so I'm pretty much free.
Okay. Let's do something then.
we gotta get we gotta get Claudia though.
I
And
know.
this bitch, it works too much.
I wonder if she is she working now? Has she responded to
Yeah,
your
cause
text?
she didn't text me back.
Ah, damn.
What'll
I was
happen
like, if she
is
did, we should just like call her at some point.
she'll wake up. She called me a couple times on her lunch break, but she don't get home till like midnight or 1 o'clock, and then she'll stay up for a couple hours,
Yeah.
and then she won't wake up until like 12 in the afternoon,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
she has to go to work at 3, so she has to leave at like 2. So she
Yeah.
literally only gets like 3 hours to herself. That's fucked up, man. Like I think about that shit now, I'm like, that's no way to fucking live. That's why we all fucked up. All these millennials, these niggas don't do shit but work and sleep.
Like you're able to say that because you have a job that like lets you pick your own hours.
But I be trying to get niggas into that shit. Or even like, not even like, they don't even have to do what I do, because the shit like,
What do you do?
I'm in financial services.
That sounds awful.
How does that sound awful?
That sounds like the worst thing possible for someone like a creative person.
it's it's not like it's limiting my creativity, because I make my own fucking hours. Like I own my own business now. The niggas, I don't have to dedicate a certain amount of hours to that job unless I want to get
Yeah.
paid. Like that's the best
But
part.
you want to get paid.
Well, of course, but at least I can make my own hours. But then I can do some shit like Lyft or some other ride sharing shit, or start up my own business or some shit like that, to where you can make your own
Okay.
hours and not have to work so goddamn much, because Tabby makes hella bread from Lyft and she make her own hours,
Yeah.
but she
She
still
probably
be working.
like drives all the time. Yeah.
She be driving all fucking day.
Yeah, that's really like the only way you can make so much money from Lyft.
We don't pay a lot, well not anymore, for rent. She would make like, she could work, well it depends on how many rides she gets and all that bullshit,
Yeah.
but she could make $1,000 a week, and that's a lot of money. Like that's
I'm sure it is.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then we
If
have
I
our
had
shit
a
on
car,
the
I would
side.
probably do that.
But you can get a car. Like
I need a
she
license.
rents a car. Oh, True
She
that.
rents a car.
Yeah,
She, what?
they have a program where you rent a car for like,
Just so that you can work for Lyft?
yeah.
What the fuck?
You didn't know this?
No. I'm like, why? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like,
You don't need a car, they'll rent you a car. I think Uber leases you a car. You didn't know? How did you not know this?
because I don't work for them and I haven't like looked into it because I don't have a license.
But
But
I figured you would hear about it. Because most of the
no.
motherfuckers that drive Lyft and Uber have newer cars. And everybody ain't got money like that. So it's like, you motherfuckers gotta work some kind of deal out. And that's what they do. So, like, even if, like, you got shit like that, the only thing about Lyft is if somebody reports you or some shit, they just cut you off
Yeah.
until they do their whole investigation bullshit. And that can take however
Yeah.
long. Like, somebody reported Tabby for driving intoxicated. They cut her off.
Was she?
Hell nah, she wasn't. It was just some asshole.
There's
But,
also if if people like don't give you 5 stars, like if you have anything
oh,
under
right.
5 stars,
It's
you
a.
don't get as many rides.
With Lyft, it's a. If you go below 4.65 or some shit like that, they just. I think you
Yeah.
get fired. Like.
Jesus.
I think. I think that's how it works. But
I think they just stop like offering you as a ride until the point where you just give up.
I don't know how it works. But
Because I remember Claudia telling me that she said her sister like worked for Uber or Lyft. I can't remember which one, but because she would get low star ratings, whenever she would try to work, like she just couldn't pick up anyone. Like it would just not come in.
damn.
So anytime, yeah,
I don't know, man. Cause Tabby, I don't like when she drives. If we in
why?
the car, I need to be driving because
Why?
she's she calls it defensive driving, and that
Oh
shit
God,
pisses me off because she'll be
defensive driving.
sitting. There was one. There's a lot of shit I could talk about. I'll just give you this one example.
Yeah,
We
we
were
could talk about the
sitting.
rest on another podcast.
Yeah, we were sitting on. We were sitting in a lane, and this lane was backed up as fuck, and every other lane was moving. And
Yeah,
she was sitting there like, why the fuck isn't this car in front of me driving? It's like,
yeah.
well, you can go around that car. Like, she was like, well, all these other lanes are moving, but this one isn't. It's like, all right, but you can get into those lanes. Like, she lets like other people drive her car, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Did she ever go into another lane?
After I told her ass,
Did it help or did that lane suddenly slow down?
man, we use the fuck out of there. It's ridiculous. Like when she drives, it pisses me off. Like I genuinely get mad. Like like if I'm not if I'm not sleeping while she's
Yeah,
driving, I will get mad. I don't I don't know how it affects me that much. Like
because you're just like get to the destination as fast as possible. She doesn't care as much.
I don't it's not even that shit. It's like little shit like being aware of your surroundings. Like you need situational awareness when you're driving. Like she don't be paying attention to shit.
That's not good.
But it's not like it's not what you would think. Like she's not like she hasn't
She,
crashed. She's had
yet,
accidents and shit. But
Jesus.
it's little shit like little shit that like if like I don't know maybe it's like a gamer thing. But it's little shit like a motherfucker's like will be coming onto the freeway. And
Yeah,
let's say you merge over into the other lane so people can get on the freeway. She
yeah.
won't do that. She won't speed up or slow down to make room for the other cars coming on. And then she'll be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" it's, it's just little shit like that and being considerate of other drivers and just being aware.
Yeah.
Like chain reaction type shit. Like if you get
Yeah.
into another lane or like if you driving up to a car
Uh-huh.
and another car is trying to get in front of you and
Yeah.
the lane to the left of you is open, then you could just
Yeah.
get in that other lane. She won't do that. Like you got the
She's
whole
gonna
freeway.
hear this podcast and be like, "Why you talking shit?"
She should know. I'm pretty sure she knows by now. Cause when she would drive, she would sense how pissed off I would get. And now she just lets me drive. Like
I like.
I'm really sitting
I
there
just.
like I shouldn't be this mad
You
about her
shouldn't. You
driving.
really shouldn't.
I know I shouldn't, but
Like
that
I
shit is
pictured.
ridiculous.
I literally picture you guys driving, and like she's driving. She senses you mad, and so she pulls over, and you guys just like switch seats.
That's never happened.
That's
Even
what I
though
pictured in my head.
it should happen more often. But like like it's ridiculous. If you
Oh
if
god.
you drive in the car with her, but she gets hella high ratings on lip, so I don't know. Maybe it's because she got big titties or some shit. I don't know.
She's probably just nice, and people are too nice to be like, "I'm gonna give you a low rating." It's
Uh,
usually what happens. That's
Probably, but
that's
she
like a
still
lot
get
of people.
like mother. You can still leave specific reviews, like you can leave like safety or driving shit like that.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people who will like still give good feedback or good like 5 stars, even if it's a really awful ride, just because they're too nice to do anything bad.
I get that, but damn, like if I was, I'd be sitting there like I don't know how the hell you be getting all these 5 stars and shit. Like if I was in the motherfucking car and I'd be paying attention to your ass driving, I'd be like, God damn, what the hell? Can we just get to the motherfucker?
You need to ride in Ubers more, and just so that you can have stories to tell.
I was riding them shit. I'm driving now. I don't
Yeah.
need no damn Ubers.
Do you have any like interesting Uber stories?
Nah. When I was actually, there was only one time where I rode a lift to work, and the dude I was doing lift line. It was just like
Yeah.
other people riding your shit,
Yeah.
and the dude who's already in there was a bus driver, and he was basically telling the driver his
Yeah.
craziest stories and shit. He had some wild shit happen
I
on the
bet.
bus. Like you couldn't even imagine this shit. This motherfucker said he was driving like on a late night weekend,
Yeah.
and this drunk bitch got on the bus and tried to like unbutton his pants and suck his dick while he was driving.
The fuck?
And he's like, and he freaked out. He's like, "Bitch, I'm working. Like maybe like like later we could like
Maybe
link up
later.
or some shit."
Were there other people on the bus?
Yes. And the bitch, it gets crazier. This nigga said the bitch got mad,
Of course.
stripped butt naked, and took a
Jeez.
shit in the middle of the
Ew.
fucking bus. And this nigga, this nigga had to stop the bus because this bitch was like going crazy. She started
Yeah.
rubbing herself in all her shit,
Ew.
and like, I guess what happens in that situation, like where somebody goes crazy and they won't get off the bus, is you just
Yeah.
gotta stop that shit, call the cops or security or whatever, and just wait for them to show up.
Jeez.
So he stopped the bus and they were just waiting there. And then people were sitting on the bus still, like, but it stank so much that they would try to get off, but they couldn't walk past her ass.
Ew.
Like, they would be trying to walk by,
Oh.
and she would be like grabbing them and hugging them and shit with the shit.
Uh, that
I
sounds
was like,
awful.
wow, that is some crazy shit. Like it doesn't even sound real, but I believe it
Doesn't.
because of the crazy motherfuckers that get on the bus in LA. Like, it be some crazy motherfuckers on the bus. I be scared to ride the bus sometimes. Claudia be falling asleep and shit. I never fall asleep on that motherfucker.
How does anyone fall asleep on a bus? Stephanie is able to fall asleep on a bus too.
I be worried about motherfuckers, man. Like, I close my eyes, but I never fall asleep.
Yeah, that's how I am. Like I can't fully fall asleep on like public transportation
I
at all.
would only. Well, one, I'm afraid I'm gonna miss my stop. And that would be the most
Yeah,
embarrassing thing
same.
ever. Like, you fall asleep and you end up on the other side of town somewhere and shit. And I be on
That's
the
how
way to work.
I was. That's how I am taking the train, even though I go to the last stops on each of them.
There was one time where I fell asleep on the train. Actually, two times. And both times I was drunk as fuck. Like, I was beyond faded.
Yeah.
One time, I shitted on my goddamn self on the motherfucking train.
Dear God, Latin.
I had blacked the fuck out. And when I woke up, I was on. I had transfer trains. I was actually on the right train, surprisingly. And I woke up and I had passed my motherfucking stop. But I wasn't that far past it. So I just
Yeah.
got off and waited for the train to go back like 2 or 3 stops.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck is in my pants? That shit was disgusting. I think it was like one night I went to Saddle, and then towards the end I blacked out. Oh my god. Like, that shit was wild, bruh. I don't think I ever told anybody about that shit. I was sitting, in between that shit, I was sitting in the fucking, like, I had fallen asleep, I think, at Pershing Square on the stairs with the shit in my pants.
Yo.
Oh,
So
shit.
disgusting.
Oh.
How did this podcast start with 13 Reasons Why? And
Oh my god.
how the fuck?
That's a story for the grandkids, man.
That's
I'll tell you, like, at the
disgusting
time,
story.
at, at the time, I
Oh
was
my
all
god.
distraught and shit, and I was trying to hide from other people on the train and shit. But at the end of the day, it's like life is crazy.
Yeah.
At least I'm alive. Like I could have
You
died that
sound
night.
you sound high. You could have
Right now?
died from missing. You could have died
No,
from
like
missing a couple stops.
like anything could have happened to me. Like I was blackout drunk. I could have stumbled like onto the train tracks or some shit. I could have got robbed. Like I could have got hit
Jesus.
by a car or some shit when I was walking home. Like anything could have
No, but
happened.
instead you missed a train stop and then you shit your pants.
I shitted myself
But at
before I
least
missed
you're
that
alive.
motherfucker. I could live to tell that story. You know what I'm saying?
I
If
don't
I
think it's a
die,
story you should want to tell.
if I died, I would have shitted on myself, and I'd be dead.
That would have been a story that someone would have heard in the news and told their grandkids.
It would have been. It's a life lesson. You don't get blackout
Don't be that
wasted.
guy. Jesus Christ. Oh.
See, I could laugh about that shit. I'm not.
How old were you when this happened?
I was like, this was like 2 years, 3 years ago.
That wasn't that long ago.
We were still.
That's during the time frame that I knew you.
Yeah. This was. I was staying at my uncle's house in L.A. and we were. What happened? I don't know what quarter it was or what classes I had at the time. But I was over there for a year. And then I was out for it. Yeah, it was probably about 2 or 3 years ago. So, yeah. I mean, you blackout wasted.
Don't do that. Life lessons from Latin.
Yeah.
I'm like listening to this story while like responding to text messages of people saying happy birthday. It's like the most dramatic comparison. Like, here's these like sweet messages that I'm getting, and you telling a story about how you shit your pants.
Oh,
Oh,
shit. Oh, my God. That's hilarious.
oh man.
You know, we didn't talk about earlier when we were talking about depression and shit.
What?
You remember that video I shared from Jonathan London?
Yeah,
That shit was
that was something we should have talked about. We were talking about depression.
for
I feel
real
like
though.
depression alone needs a full podcast.
Low key.
Like, there's a lot.
Cause
Like,
alright, we could save it then. Talk about
yeah,
this
especially with like this group. If we have like Claudia in it too, she could be like the comedic relief for all the like serious shit that we talk about.
I give you some comedic relief and tell you the story about how I shit on myself.
I don't need to hear it again during this depression.
Oh my god.
I just started. I was say, I was like, now, anytime I'm depressed, that's all I'm gonna think about. Oh my
Like
god.
you could be shitting on yourself on the train on the way home. I jumped in the
Oh.
shower immediately. Like I didn't know what the hell I was gonna do
I'm
with my
gonna
damn
have
boxers.
like the next time I have like a really bad day, that's gonna be the first thing that pops in my head. Like at least I'm not Latin that one day. I'll just start laughing, and then you're gonna get a random text from me just being like, "I hate you so much."
That's great. You know what I'm saying?
You'll be like crying and laughing at the same time. Thinking of that,
As
but I'm
you're
also
like,
depressed.
you could, you could have shitted on yourself in public on a damn
Jesus.
train.
Next time you talk to your friend because she's having a bad day, just tell her that story.
I should use that as most a motivational as a feel good story.
Ah, I pray to God that Shenanigans gets so popular that we can like sell posters and shit. So that can be on a poster. Like, a motivational poster.
It'd just be like a meme of my face,
Yeah.
like with the shit emoji.
It's gonna be like a picture of you sitting on the train with like the most horrified look on your face. And just the words like,
You could
at
be
least
me.
you're... Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh my god. Alright, I have no idea when we started this shit, but we should wrap it up.
Me either, but this seems like a great place to end it.
Yeah. Do you have any
Oh my
closing
God.
remarks?
Uh, Not really.
You
My
know what?
my ending statement was always go check out our YouTube channel.
Oh, right, right.
You're the one that always had some really bizarre ending remark, and then Claudia would just interrupt everyone else's remark.
True that. That ASMR shit.
I hate it. I hate it. Because I was listening back to the old podcast, and she would do that in like every single one of them, and I'm like, oh my God, I want to punch her.
She actually had a good voice for it.
I hate it so much. It's so awful.
Alright. My closing remark is if
Final statements.
final statement, if you're having a bad day, you could have been me.
Yeah, just remember that. You could have been Latin.
That one night.
The person who apparently has a really successful job and makes his own hours and is able to be creative and is motivated. But you could have been Latin when he shit himself.
Oh my god. I could
Remember to go check out our YouTube channel. It's Shenanigans. You can find it by going to YouTube and typing in Shenanigans breaking out of zip ties. And you can watch that and break out a zip tie and Claudia scream a lot.
and struggle.
Watch that video and then go watch all of our other videos and subscribe. And check out Latin's channel because he has one too. So does Claudia. Subscribe to them.
Word.
And yeah, we'll see you or we'll talk at you at the next podcast. I remembered that part.
Wasn't it like
Bye.
slightly different?
It was
We'll talk
it was
with you.
something
We'll
along
talk
those
at
lines.
you.
It's like, well, yeah, we'll talk with you next week or we'll talk at you next week. Bye.